Hey. Does he have amnesia or something? He can't remember? I think we need to start tape recording our conversation. Physically, because that's how I got drawn into the conversation. So you guys have true accountability. Agency has their own failures.
Right. Is Caitlin back there? Is Caitlin back there? To Harriet? Okay, is Caitlin back there? Okay. As long as you got somebody back there. I understand. Huh? Who took your seat? We want you up closer.
You didn't have somebody sitting there for you? Put your hat down next time.
Is she gonna pull it?
You have a question? Oh. Good morning.
Good morning. The October 29th, 2014 meeting of the Board of Estimates is now called to order. Madam Deputy Controller, are there any correction, additional deferrals on the agenda? But let me back up for a minute. In the interest of promoting the order and the efficiency of these hearings, persons who are disruptive to the hearing will be asked to leave the hearing room immediately. Madam Deputy Controller, are there any corrections, additions, or deferrals on the agenda?
Good morning. For today's meeting, the board received protests from Ms. Kim Trueheart for pages 54 to 57, items 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and for pages 1 to 84, all items. The board will not entertain her protests. However, they have been sent to the submitting agencies to review and respond directly to Ms. Kim Trueheart. In the absence of Mr. George Nilsson, Mr. David Ralph will sit and act on his behalf today. We have some certain items that were originally on the non-routine agenda, which will be moving to the routine, and those are pages 32, 33, and page 35. I have the following abstentions to note. The Honorable Mayor Rawlings Blake will abstain on page 64 for Parks and People Foundation, Inc. only. Page 79. Pages 81 to 83, items 1, 2, and 3. The Honorable President Young will abstain on page 12, item 1. And the Honorable Comptroller Pratt will abstain on page 19, item 16. Pages 29 to 30, numbers 36 to 38, and page 71, item number 6. As a result of the items moving to the routine agenda, the item that remains on the non-routine agenda is page 71 to 72, item number 7. Mr. President, members of the board, those are the protests received today. The abstentions, and the one item that is on the non-routine agenda, which again is page 71 to 72, item number 7. Thank you.
Thank you. I would direct the board members' attention to the memorandum from my office dated October 27th, 2014, identifying matters to be considered as routine agenda items together with any corrections and additions that have been noted by the Deputy Controller. I will entertain a motion to approve all of the items contained on the routine agenda.
Move the approval of the items on the routine agenda.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The motion carried. The routine agenda has been adopted. The first item on the non-routine agenda can be found on pages 71 and 72. Informal awards, renewals, increases to contracts and extensions. Item 7, solicitation number B5000642, personnel for CCTV monitoring. Mayor's Office on Criminal Justice and the Police Department. Will the parties please come forward?
City Purchasing Agent, this is a recommendation for a $900,000 award to Crown Security to provide CCTV monitoring personnel for the City Watch Center.
The initial term of this renewal was 3 years, but because they have not been in compliance with MBU goals, we are recommending only a 1-year renewal, and we are planning to take this contract out to rebid per the recommendation of the agency.
When is it going to be rebid? When is it going to be rebid?
We'll be working with the agency to renew the specifications after this meeting and continuing that. We don't have a specific date to put it on the street yet.
But we think that it will, another contract will come before this board within a year.
That is correct.
Okay. I had a couple questions.
Excuse
sorry.
me, is anybody from Crown here?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
Yeah, you can come forward.
John Steiner, Director of Operations for Crown Security.
A couple questions. Could you tell me what the starting salary was for the monitors and for the supervisors in 2008?
I believe at that time it was $14 an hour for the monitors and $16 an hour for the supervisors.
Okay. And of the 23 employees that you have, how many were supervisors?
There are 3.
3. And of the 19 Baltimore City retired policemen, how many were full-time and how many were part-time?
Of the total 23 personnel, there are 17 full-time, 6 part-time. I don't know off the top of my head which of those were the retired city officers.
My main concern is, and this letter, and I would just, you've had this contract since 2008. You were asked to come into compliance. And I have a list of MBEs that provide security services. And I'd just like to read this letter because I don't understand why you were not able to hire MBEs. And this letter to Mr. Corey states, and I'd like to read it into the record. It says, Dear Mr. Corey, Crown Security is in the process of interviewing, evaluating MBU-approved minority subcontractors for the participation in the above referenced contract. It is my understanding that we are prohibited from transferring our personnel to a subcontractor's payroll in order to achieve compliance with the contract requirement. City Watch is currently fully staffed and is not planning on adding personnel. Even if we were able to find a subcontractor who could comply with the requirements of the contract that have been established by the City of Baltimore Police Department, we are not in a position to utilize their personnel in the foreseeable future. I am looking for some direction, guidance as to how we can achieve compliance and demonstrate a good faith effort in making our attempt. But my question is, for 5 or 6 years, why were you not able to find, and there's a whole list of MBEs who do security service, who do security and detective services, so why was it that you were trying to keep all the money in your firm?
Well, actually, we were compliant previously with our subcontractor Stronghold Security. However, they could not meet their payroll. They did not offer a direct deposit, and so the employees that were working for them were having their checks bounced.
So they couldn't meet their payroll because you were not paying them or because of other reasons, or you don't know?
They never explained
Okay.
why.
Mhm.
We paid them 48 hours after we were paid by the city.
Okay.
We never sat on it.
So after they became non-compliant, or you became non-compliant, why didn't you look on this list and use other security services?
Well, because the issue came to a head, it was during the holidays, and the employees were having their paychecks bounced. They had scheduled car payments, insurance payments, mortgage payments that were getting refused and rejected, and they were incurring fees. So what we did is we took them onto our payroll, and we actually covered Stronghold's paychecks. We cut.
You hired Stronghold's employees.
That's correct.
But doing that, and I can appreciate that, so that you wouldn't have a disruption of services, but why didn't you look at the city's MBE list so that you would be in compliance?
Well, because with Lieutenant Hood, who runs the City Watch program, that program has evolved since its inception. When it started out, nobody really was sure the profile of the right candidates or who's going to do a good job on it. The cameras have increased, the technology has changed, and as such, the job description has evolved.
So what are you going to do between now and when this contract is over to come into compliance?
Well, I'm going to work with Mr. Corey's office and see what we can do.
Here's a list. You can get a list.
I've got the list, ma'am, and I've
Okay.
already made initial contacts with
Okay.
about 25% of the people on that list. They've all expressed interest.
Good. Okay.
Is that it?
I have some questions. My concern is that given the 60 days, I think we're at the same place where we were 60 days ago, where you say your explanation for non-compliance is that you have people that are interested, you've made some inquiries, but we're no further along. And that troubles me, because I think I was very clear that the MBE-WBE compliance was very important. I understand that this is a critical function of the police department, certainly something that I've worked to expand. But in efforts to expand, it's my goal in expanding the operations and technology at City Watch shouldn't be at the expense of meeting our MBE-WBE goals. So the fact that we're right where we were, I think it's more than 60 days ago, according to the Deputy Comptroller, is troubling to me. I hear your recommendation for 1 year with the understanding that that's how long it would take to rebid. I think we should move at a more accelerated pace of 6 months. And, I think we've, to plan for this transition. I'm disappointed that we're at the same place we were before. And I understand that you say that you want to show a good faith effort to be compliant, but I think a good faith effort would have been at least a step further along than we were more than 60 days ago, and I don't see that that's where we are.
Well, ma'am, for a point of clarification, the letter from Tom Corey was effective September 18th, so giving us our 60 days. So it has not, in fact, been more than 60 days at this point. I've been in touch with his office and other people within the city, trying to find out what we can possibly do to immediately start making some changes and, having some MBE participation, whether it's with our ancillary services or personnel.
So I understand that the meeting was held before and at that point, I think it was at the Board of Estimates meeting, it was clear there was 60 days. So in my mind, whether the clock started August the 27th or September the 18th, we're talking about the difference of a few weeks. And I think I find it troubling that that your good faith effort would occur in the last 2 weeks of the time period that was offered. I think that there's certainly things that could have happened in the meantime, in the however many days since the notification or since the decision was made or the notification, And what you're asking us to do is put all of our faith that your good faith effort will happen in the next 2 weeks, and we don't have anything on which to base that.
Also, Mr. Cross, would you consider using retired policemen in this plan for the transition?
We've talked with the agency about that possibility, and they've been looking at that.
Okay.
That may not be the final recommendation that they make to us. At this point, the agency is asking us to go out with a new solicitation, but they can certainly still continue to look at that as well.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion.
I would move approval of the page 71, 72, item 7, as amended to 6 months, 6 months transition period.
All those in favor say aye. All opposed, nay. The motion carries.
And let me just, for clarification, excuse me, your last name again?
Steiner.
Mr. Steiner, you agree to the 6-month extension?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, there being no more business before the board, the meeting will recess until bid opening at 12 noon. Thank you.
Okay. Everything's good? Good. How are you? Good. Jane, you want me or you? Oh. He's a full-time city. What does he do? He distributes mail, picks up mail, delivers mail, sorts mail. You know what his salary is offhand? I can get it. I can get it. How long has he been there? About 5 years. I mean, he's been a model employee. Never, he's always on time, stays late, never called out sick.
I guess I will. Good afternoon. The Board of Education is now in session for the receiving and opening of bids. I apologize for the delay. We have one addendum for today, and it is for B50003802, towing services for cars, trucks, and heavy equipment. Please change the bid due date from October 29th, 2014 to November 5th, 2014. That is the only addendum for today.
Hearing no objection, so ordered.
Okay. Thanks. All right. WC 1233, Montebello Filtration Plant 1, emergency electrical improvements. Enterprise Electric Company with a bid bond. $1,559,400.
Refer this bid to the Bureau of Water and Wastewater for tabulation and report.
SC 857, chlorination, dechlorination facilities process conversion at the Patapsco wastewater treatment plant. The Whiting Turner Contracting Company with a bid bond. $12,839,000. W.M. Slosser Company, Inc., with a bid bond. $13,198,000. Cheney Construction Company, Inc., with a bid bond. $13,972,566. Uleman Chute Construction, LLC, with a bid bond. $13,497,000.
That's what the, that's what the bid bond.
With a bid bond, yes, I'm sorry.
Refer these bids to the Bureau of Water and Wastewater for tabulation and report. So,
B50003609, parts and maintenance for fuel dispensing equipment. A bid bond is required if the matter is over $100,000.
thanks.
This one, I'll come at that later. I'll come at later. Let's see what the price is. I think they need it. I'm looking for their price for that. Because this says. Let's look at another one first and see if we get anything similar. Let's look at another one. Sometimes. Let me check their sheet. Yeah. They do say, this is purchase sheet, they do say that. I was making sure we didn't have a mistake. Okay, we'll check this one first and see. This one's under 100. We'll come to that one last and see what happens. Total Environmental Concepts, Inc., $99,987.50. That's theirs. It's just one. I don't see it. It's just, I don't know what there's one. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna be counted is given certificate verification because maybe it's not required. That's what you're saying. Okay. Petroleum Services, Inc., subject to verification of a bid bond, $106,000. Thank you. Clean Fuels Associates, Inc., subject to verification of a bid bond, $103,000.
Refer these bids to the Bureau of Purchases for tabulation and report.
You can get them, yeah, when you come back, yeah. Thank you. Okay, thank you. We'll be okay. Thank you so much. Again, I apologize. B50003809, portable generator. A bid bond is required if the amount is over $100,000. Corelli Inc., $29,350. Team Service Corporation of New York, $46,740. Prospectus Enterprises, Inc., $34,000.
Refer these bids to the Bureau of Purchases for tabulation and report.
B50003815, extruded sign blanks. A bid bond is not required. Looks like it's just one. I'm just trying to see if we had an extra one. Lido Enterprises of Ohio, LLC, $77,248. Let me see. I'll hold it to the end in case it's another. These are the same. First American Services, LLC. First American Services, LLC, $73,139. Wait a minute. I don't know what their price is supposed to be. See, that's not what they mean, I'm sure. So it's supposed to be by the unit and extended. Use the whole package, so it's kind of. I think they're back here now, this way. I think they're back here. He's only doing one, and they haven't multiplied it out. So his the amount is $750. They should have it by. That's the item. Right, he just has one. That's why it's all.
See, what he did is he just added each individual total number that's
Unit prices.
this can't be right though.
Yeah, and then put it here. defeat this on his own. What we can do, I think, is just, if it's just simply a mathematical calculation, and they can use this, they can extend it by that, or they can decide to fill it out.
Okay.
Because usually what happens is let's just refer it all. That might be simpler.
Item
Just the item we're supposed to have here,
should have the quantity.
but it's not, so. I don't know. I make a motion to refer the bid of Garden State Highway Products, Inc. to the Law Department for review.
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
None opposed. That matter having been properly moved and second is referred to the Law Department for review. Refer these bids to the Bureau of Purchases for tabulation and report.
B50003674. Conversion of microfilm and microfiche to digital format. A bid bond is not required. The Crowley Company, $555,320.
Refer this bid to the Bureau of Purchases for tabulation and report.
B50003226, tire repair services. A bid bond is required if the amount is over $100,000. You can't determine. They determine the price because there's no total. This is even big. Let's go to the next one, just to see how that one looks first. This was the same. the labor rates. Yeah, and that's just the price and the markup on the various goods and tires. So we'll have to do it as an item bid. Okay. This bid B50003226 is an item bid, and so therefore prices cannot be read. Can't tell the price, so we can't tell whether they would have to do it. Verification. It's insurance. That's the B5. Then markup supplies. But we don't know what all this. Yes, we would be able to do it. So we just say for this one. Doing verification of bid bond, because they may have one on file. Edgewater Tire, doing business as Admiral Tire, subject to verification of bid bond. Have a lovely check. And here's the company. That's the company name, it's not there. Donald B. Rice Tire Company with a check. That's a clipper if we need it in rubber bands.
Refer these bids to Bureau of Purchases for tabulation.
B50003818, electrical supplies. A bid bond is not required. And we're gonna have a total. Yeah. I have the prices back here for some other price information. The discounts. But then this is the total price, because it's an item bid again. Right. Gray Bar Electric Company. This is an item bid, so prices cannot be read, but we have a bid, the first bid is from Gray Bar Electric Company. Towards the rear. Towards the end. production distribution. Ideal electrical supply.
Refer these bids to the Bureau of Purchases for tabulation and report.
B5000 3774, quick lime for water treatment. A bid bond is required if the amount is over $100,000. Greer Industries, Inc., doing business as Greer Lime Company with a bid bond. $409,350. Carmoose, Lime, and Stone, $387,450.
Refer these bids to the Bureau of Purchases for tabulation and report.
B5000 3788, heavy equipment and operator rental services. There's a fixed bid bond amount of $4,500. It's right here. Okay. It's in item. Hope we got a total somewhere. There may not be a total. We'll just keep on to the end. I don't know. Nope, I don't see a total. It's an item bid. Okay, this is an item bid. Prices will not be read. Jesco Inc. with a bid bond. Alban Tractor Company, Inc., with a bid bond. Potts and Callahan, Inc., with a bid bond.
Refer these bids to the Bureau of Purchases for tabulation and report.
We have one item that is being added to the list of bids to be received and open today, and I apologize for that, but that will be GS 14813, Carroll Mansion HVAC upgrade. A bid bond is not required. They look the same to me, like, oh, no, okay. No photocopies? Okay. Hmm? Okay, there it is, thanks. This page here, second page. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's, I think, for the insurance or something else. It's the affidavit, and the MBE, yeah, they come back. This one doesn't require a bid bond. They said no bid bond required, so we're okay. We just added it. That was when we were working on it earlier, because it came in, we didn't know it was here. J. Vinton Schaefer and Sons, Inc., $384,000. Here, let's see what's their name. Centennial, thank you. Centennial Contractors Enterprises, Inc., $387,000. Here's your last one. The Whiting Turner Contracting Company, $565,030.
Refer these bids to the Department of General Services for tabulation and report.
Thank you. There being no further business, we are adjourned. Thank you. Thanks for your patience today.